Welcome to Salcedo Paranormal. It is Tuesday, October 25th, 2022, and tonight I will be sharing true paranormal stories from the web. Funny thing about that is I may have misspoken last night. Can't remember, but I know I was thinking about Wednesday's show, so I may have confused my days a little bit. Tomorrow, Wednesday, I'll be reviewing some stories from Lovecraft, so just in case anyone was wondering about that. Also, I have decided I am going to do a show on Friday. Not a long one, probably another one similar to this one tonight, with some more true paranormal stories from the web. So that way you all will have shows all weekend leading up to Halloween. I think that's basically it. I've already explained the plans for the week earlier in the week, and of course I'll do that again probably on Thursday. And we'll go from there. So tonight I have 3 stories to read. And I'm forgetting something here. For full shows, along with links to social media, ways to donate, and ways to contact me, you can visit the podcast page, and that's salcidoparanormal.podbean.com. That's SALSIDO paranormal.podbean.com. Always happy to hear from you all, whether you have comments or questions, or topic suggestions, or stories of paranormal experiences, whether they're your own or from others that you trust. Happy to either read those or have you join me on the show to talk about them. And as always, thank you all for listening. Whether you are here for the live show, I see you all there. Thank you for being here. Or if you listen to the podcast or YouTube feeds. And so I think with that, I can get to the stories that I have for tonight. Like I said, I have 3 of them. The first one is long. The second 2 are kind of short, but they're I think they're good ones. So we'll see what everyone thinks. Okay. So yeah, I guess just real quick to mention it again. The plan is for this week. Tomorrow I'll be reviewing some more short stories from H.P. Lovecraft. Thursday will be more paranormal news. Friday, again, I'll be doing an extra show with more true paranormal stories from the web. Saturday will be, the plan is as of right now anyway, we'll see how it goes, but I'm supposed to have Michael Strange from Troubled Minds Radio on with me to talk about a topic that we will reveal on that night. Sunday is going to be a special call-in show where we will talk about our favorite paranormal media, whether it's TV shows or movies or comic books or regular books. Anything to do with paranormal that you like. I will be letting people join me to talk about that one at a time, and that'll be on Sunday. Monday looks like the plan is to have Derek on with me to talk about all the strange things that one can possibly find here in Michigan. From hauntings to UFO sightings to cryptids, whatever we were able to find. And still doing research for that, so that should be fun. And then that will bring us into November. So, and then after Halloween, the usual schedule will resume. So, and that's basically that. So, and now, like I said, I can get on to the stories here. This first one says, when I was in university, I lived in an older house that was built beside a church. The house was over 100 years old, but I'm unsure of actual age. I lived in the basement and had a few housemates. We didn't know at the time it was built on a cemetery. That was discovered shortly after I moved out. Weird things would happen in the house, but I'm still not sure if it was haunted or just purely coincidental. I would hear footsteps above my room late at night, and when I would ask my roommates the next day who was in the kitchen at 2 a.m., my housemates would say they never came downstairs at all. My one housemate had a cat, and the one day we were in the kitchen, the back door opened by itself, and the cat walked in. I did see what I believe was a shadow figure in that house. I had a bookshelf beside my bed and had a Buddha statue on one of the top shelves. In the middle of the night, there was a huge bang, and when I woke up, I saw a black figure jump from the bookshelf to the floor and run out of the room. The shelf with the Buddha figure had fallen off the bookshelf, and the Buddha had smashed to pieces on the floor. I thought at first maybe it was my housemate's cat that had somehow knocked the shelf off, but the next morning when I told my housemate what had happened, they said the cat had been locked in their room with them all night. Shortly after that, I moved out. The house was owned by the church, and there was a parking lot in the backyard. The church was adding an addition and had started construction and digging up the parking lot behind the house. During the construction, human remains were found, which obviously halted the construction until it was determined why the remains were there. It was found that before the house existed, a small cemetery had been on that land. At least 30 skeletons were found, and I'm not sure if they were able to determine the identities or why they were buried there. For some reason, when the house was built, it was decided to build on top of the cemetery, and the records of the cemetery's existence were either lost or forgotten over time. I'm not sure if other housemates had experiences there. It was a creepy house, and I remember them mentioning hearing things at night and not liking to stay there alone. I'm unsure if it was haunted, but weird things definitely did happen there. So that's the end of the story. It does sound like maybe the there was one or more spirits possibly there, or at least beings that could have been disturbed by the house being there. I'm glad that when they did construction, they figured things out a little bit. That's good. Excuse me. Okay. Microphone switch wasn't working. Anyway, sorry about that. So, but it doesn't sound like it was anything outwardly negative. I wonder even if maybe that figure that was on that shelf. It makes me wonder though if what the figure looked like as far as a shadow figure. If it looked like a figure of a cat or if it was something else. The writer didn't really, maybe they didn't see well enough to know what kind of figure it was. But I don't know. That sounds like quite the event there. So, and that shelf falling off. I wonder if that means it had weight or if it was some kind of energy transfer that led to the shelf falling off. Or if it was, the only other thing I can think of is sometimes different religions have not so good views of other religions. So I guess it's possible that the whole purpose for whoever this was or whatever this was being on that shelf was to knock that statue off of there. Hopefully that wasn't the case, but I guess it's possible. But it sounds like there was enough other activity there, footsteps and all of that. So maybe that wasn't it. That was just could have even been an accident on the part of whatever is on that shelf. So neat story. I'm glad that they figured things out. Of course, I really wonder what they did thereafter. If they moved those remains to another location, I'm guessing so. I would hope anyway. But at least I think anyway. I don't know. I'm not sure what the proper things are to do in those kinds of situations. I haven't done any research into that yet. But neat story, and at least it wasn't anything too negative, really. Um, at least it didn't seem like that. So I get on to the next story here. And these last two are, like I said, not super long, but we'll go on with them here. This one says, "This happened when I was much younger, no older than 10. I was sitting up in bed, watching TV one night, when I heard tapping on my window. The sound startled me more than usual because, one, my room was on the second floor of our house, and two, the weather was too calm to rustle any branches. Branches would have been more sporadic anyway, and this was a definite, consistent, definitely consistent. There we go. Deliberate even. I am willingly turned. I can't talk tonight. Toward the source and felt every hair on the back of my neck stand up. The window was completely engulfed by a hooded black mass with long, emaciated fingers. Somehow, I gathered up the courage to do what any child would do in that moment, hide under their blanket. Time stood still for what felt like hours. Only after I convinced myself the entity was gone did I dare peek over the covers. Nothing. I never saw the figure after that, and I'm 28 now. Still, I can't help but wonder if or when I might see it again. They say the Reaper knocks for us all eventually." And that's quite the story there, especially if it was what the writer thinks it was. And despite my poor reading of the story, it was written very well. And there was a comment on the website saying that, pointing that out and implying that that must mean that it's fiction. And I have a hard time with that. I don't believe that always has to be the case. It could just be that the person is a writer, and so they that's how they write. You know, I don't think that just because a story is well written, it has to be fiction. So neat story there, neat experience. Again, it does look like at some point in November, mid to late November, I'll be doing a show on the whole Grim Reaper archetype and sightings. People have claimed to have sightings of similar things throughout time. So that should be a fun show, and I'll let you all know when we do that. And I already have a friend that is interested in doing that with me, so that will be a great show once we get there. I just haven't scheduled it yet. I'm just getting through this Halloween before I do any other major scheduling. So, but yeah, neat sighting there. I wonder if it was. I wonder who it was, what it was, whether it was the Reaper or not, or some kind of Grim Reaper. I wonder what the point was for getting the child's attention. If it was, it's hard to say, really. So, but neat story there. So let's see here. I have one more, and this one, I don't know how to classify this one. So let's see here. This one says, "I've looked around for this online and can't find any answer. So this is my best option for now." And I guess they mean posting online. "Somewhere between 2 a.m. and 3:30 a.m. on 7:25. So September 25th, I guess they mean. No, it'd be July 25th. I believe. And it says, I was so surprised and freaked out that I texted my mom about it, and so I was able to go back and check the date and time. My boyfriend and I were driving down Main Street in our city on our way home from my parents' house, and I saw a bright star in the sky. I pointed it out to my boyfriend and was like, wow, look at that really bright star. It's moving. The star shot from the right side of the sky to the left side pretty fast. It was almost like a shooting star, but it was extra bright and moved smoothly and far without the light dimming or going away. Then, this is when I really started freaking out. It stopped in one spot and started to elongate. I literally watched it look like it was growing and getting bigger. It then turned into a crescent moon. My mind was literally blown and still is. There was nothing tall on the ground to obstruct my view of the star or moon. So the fact that it was moving like that and changing shape right before my eyes made me feel like I was in the Twilight Zone. All of this happened over a span of about 13 to 20 minutes. How long it takes for me to get to my home from my parents' house. I've been looking it up here and there and haven't found anything that describes what I saw. Maybe someone here knows. If it's just something I don't know about, I'll feel really stupid, but I'd rather at least have some answers. Anyone know what this is? It says. And it says, too long didn't read. A bright, moving star, in quotation marks, turned into a crescent moon right before my eyes. And that is amazing to me. That's not a satellite, I don't think, or a plane, or a drone, unless it's some kind of fancy drone that can really expand and generate light in a very specific way. I don't know what that is. And so I thought that was a really neat story. Just really, I have no idea what to even make of that. If it was just light, then maybe some kind of a conscious entity orb kind of thing that could also manipulate its shape and size and brightness, maybe. I wonder if there was some symbolic meaning to it changing into a crescent moon for the person. Didn't mention that the boyfriend saw it, but then again, I'm sure if the boyfriend was driving, then they may not have been able to really look at it. But just an amazing story. I just really wonder what that was. I mean, it's just, I don't know. I have no words to really even try to describe that. So neat story there, and that's basically it for tonight. I've never really had a sighting like that. I've never even really heard of a sighting exactly like that. I have heard on other shows of UFOs or lights appearing to take the shape and the size of the moon, or even the image of the moon somehow multiplying. I've heard that before in front of people. I've heard of different things, but not exactly what this story said. So, but at the same time, I wonder if that's a whole maybe subcategory of anomalous sightings, something to do with moons or imitation moons or something. I don't even know how that would be described. So yeah, that one right there I think was the most interesting one to me out of all the stories tonight. So thank you all for being here and listening. And I'll be back tomorrow night with to review some of the short stories from H.P. Lovecraft, the complete fiction, on the next episode of Salcedo Paranormal. Take care, everyone.